in terms of how Zuma's downfall now, stepping down, could lead to some kind of change in what Ramaphosa has to do to bring more transformation. You know, the interesting thing about Zuma is that in many regards he actually did undertake programs that were well-intentioned and that did make some progress, especially vis-a-vis his predecessor, Thabo Mbeki, who was famously out of touch with the needs of South African masses, was kind of very much stuck in his head as an intellectual. There's a very, very famous political cartoon by the preeminent South African political cartoonist Shapiro, it was Jonathan Shapiro, where Thabo Mbeki is passing a beggar in the street, and the beggar has obviously asked him for change, and Thabo Mbeki says to the beggar, change takes time. So that's the kind of cerebral understanding of South Africa's problems versus the very desperate issues of poverty. So compared to Thabo Mbeki, Zuma actually undertook some constructive policies, but those were definitely undercut by his own corrupt behavior. And so obviously that kind of corruption takes money away from people who really should be getting it, you know, in this program of alleviating poverty, and it also makes him look just hopelessly corrupt and you know, dishonest in a way that seriously undermines democracy. To his credit and to South Africa's broader credit in terms of the actual functioning of South Africa's democracy, he did step down. He didn't try to rally supporters to his side or in any way undermine the democratic process when things came to a head. He stepped down. He respected the party, the ANC, and so there are definitely some aspects of South African democracy that remain robust, which is noteworthy. And we shouldn't engage in a kind of catastrophizing of South Africa's situation. First of all, reversing the inequalities of apartheid, that's a multi-generational project. That's not something you can do in 5 or 10 years. And second of all, for all of its shortcomings, the ANC has not plunged South Africa into a different category other than democracy, into authoritarianism. In other words, yes, South Africa's democracy in some regards still remains fairly robust, and they deserve credit for that. That being said, there's an enormous amount of pressure now on Ramaphosa to hit the ground running, to see policies already underway through to some kind of successful completion, to address the burning issue of land redistribution, which successive ANC administrations have said that they want to address, but have kind of kicked down the road, you know, delaying as much as possible this incredibly thorny issue. And so to be effective and to appear effective in the eyes of South Africa's people, which are similar but not identical things, Ramaphosa needs to act quickly. And he also, I mean, he has benefited. He has, economically speaking, he has also enriched himself since the time of independence. So he's another fat cat in that sense, though he has not engaged in the kinds of overt corrupt behavior that Zuma became notorious for. But he better stay out of that, make sure that he doesn't now get embroiled in some kind of new scandal involving kickbacks or involving restructuring the government or in any way either abusing his power as president or abusing the station of president for economic gains. Those are the two things he needs to steer the country away from, steer it away from the precipice, which South Africa has approached without quite going over. And then he needs to start overseeing these programs and show the South African electorate that the ANC is serious about change, because the ANC suffered important losses in recent regional level elections, many have argued that this presages major challenges at the polls in the next general presidential election. And so for the ANC to maintain integrity, maintain legitimacy, and continue to be a significant player in South African politics, it needs to really turn its focus towards implementing programs that alleviate the plight of the poor. And that's a challenge because also if you do things like redistribute land or nationalize the mines or impose heavy taxes on foreign mining companies that make an absolutely fabulous profit from mining gold, mining diamonds, if you do that, then you can spook them and you can imperil foreign direct investment, and you can imperil South Africa's position in the international economy. So those are moves that can come with a cost. And South Africa is at a bit of a crossroads now. I mean, we can say that it's been there for a while in terms of, do you make it a priority to satisfy these international investors and continue to be very well integrated into the international economy in ways that really perpetuate inequality? Or do you address the issue of inequality with more socially minded programs that fly in the face of what we might call neoliberal logic and that can make South Africa potentially a less attractive place for foreign direct investment and multinational corporations to come and set up shop there? So it's going to be very interesting to watch in the next few years what happens now.